Hello everybody, I'm Henry Lee, blueheronarts.com. Long time no see. I have made many videos, but recently we missed a technician. He went back to China, so we have to edit the videos myself, and it takes a long time. I apologize for the long wait. Anyway, today I'm going to show you a new video on how to mount Chinese painting onto silk. Here are some examples, and the reason I'm doing this today actually, by the way, is to prepare for a group exhibition coming in this fall, in the end of September in Oregon. Portland, Oregon, and the exhibition, you have to send artwork. If it's framed, it takes some risk, so you have to protect the frame, everything. However, I can show the art piece in a ready-to-frame format with silk margin like this, or I will hand my work with a scroll like this, but many of my customers, they prefer to have the artwork framed. So in this case, they have to cut the painting to put in the frame, and that's not very pleasant. So I decided to just display the artwork with the silk margin and mount it on the back and with silk margin. So it's ready to frame. It has a nice finished look. I'm going to show how I did these paintings. So the first thing is to prepare the materials. Of course, we need to have silk. It's called silk brocade. This is the painting we're going to mount. As you can see, the painting has buckled it's not flattened, and the color doesn't show until we back it. So before we do that, we need to prepare the silk margin. The silk margin is like the mat, so you need to keep the pattern as is. You cannot switch directions, because if you do that, you will see the color difference, especially in a reflection. You can see this two is in one direction, and I switched the direction in this. This was a mistake actually. Because the color is light, so the mistake is not obvious. If the color is dark, it will be very terrible. So you will see an edge, like two darker or lighter columns with the horizontal strip, although they come from the same piece of silk. If you shift so for example, if you cut the horizontal this way, and the horizontal way then turn into 90 degrees, you have the same problem as this one. Okay, if you keep them in the same direction, when you finish, the reflection is the same, so you shouldn't see the difference between the vertical strip and the horizontal. Because the silk margin is not like a mat, you can still save some material by carefully planning the cut. So you don't have to cut a hole or the window, the opening in the middle, right in the middle. So you can still do, the first thing I'm going to do is to measure the height, say 18 inches. So we give like 2.5 inch, something like that. So we can cut like that. You don't have to cut all the way through, so let's do maybe about 7 inch, so we give 3 inch on each side. Let's see, that's about it. 4 inch, so 8 inch on each side. We just cut like a 9 inch here. Okay, and we need to take out this extra margin first. By the way, this silk has been mounted on the silicone. It's attached with a layer of silicone. So you need to cut off the part that without the silicone first. Alright, I'm not going to show you the process of mounting this landscape painting on Chinese rice paper, precisely mulberry paper. As you can see, the painting need to be stretched before framing, and we don't do that during painting process. All we need to do is to back it with another piece of paper. You can use a piece of rice paper with wet mounting. That's a very traditional way. Today we're going to use a silicone dry mounting paper that comes with silicone film. I cut this into the size, and it comes with a release paper. The release paper is not actually the backing paper. I will use a special backing paper like this, and you can use something like multimedia paper or drawing paper, or even watercolor paper, if you will. The first step is to flatten the painting with iron, just like you would do with iron a shirt. You spray some water. I put this metal piece to protect my iron surface, and you can just lift the painting and spray it outside the table, or you can spray it on the table with some protection, because I don't want the pad that I'm working on to be wet, as you will see. Okay. So you can let it relax a little bit. If you have watched my previous videos, you might see I mount the painting when it's still damp on the silicone paper. Now I find it's maybe easier to iron the painting, dry the painting first actually. Iron the painting directly. So I clean the iron with a dry paper towel. Make sure there's no dust. You might want to protect the painting with another sheet of paper. I like to see what happens, so it's just kind of, just gently, very gently, slight, just on the surface of the paper, not with too much pressure, just kind of flatten it very gently. I set the temperature to silk, low temperature. You can leave some moisture there. It will help to flatten it. Actually, you might want to iron on the back, so if there's some dust, it's on the back. It's a little better than, a little less risk then you iron on the front side maybe. It's a craft, not a science, as I always remind you. So it needs to practice, and you will find your own way eventually to do it. So this is to flatten it. Okay, with a little, still a little moisture in it, I will start to do the backing. And once this is backed on the adhesive, you cannot flatten it. If there are creases, it's not easy to flatten. So make sure there's no crease, no wrinkle to start with. Okay. You match position. Make sure it's in the center. Now I need another sheet to protect the surface of the painting. And this is a release paper without the silicone. It was from another project. It's perfect to protect the painting with the release paper that comes with the silicone. You can use newsprint if you don't have this paper yet. You don't have it when you have one project done, you'll see that. Okay, so I start from the center of the painting out for 4 directions, and then the corner. You can also move the iron in a circular movement like that, and from center out. You don't have to kind of press very hard in the beginning. You just need to cover the whole thing evenly. Because we're not using a press machine, it's not an easy work if it's large. I will recommend you start with a smaller piece like this to practice before you do your important work. Okay, this is a low temperature starter. It's still on silk. After it starts to stick together, you need to seal it with a higher temperature. I'll increase to somewhere between the silk and the wool until it completely stick together. So you need to activate the adhesive with the 180 Fahrenheit, approximately between the iron. It depends on your home iron, between the silk and the wool. With a higher temperature, you maybe spend less time, but it's a little easier if you do more work with lower temperature. Give you more time to work with. And you can check to see if there's a still bubble. You need to keep iron until it's completely dry, because there's some water I spread earlier, not evaporated yet. So you need to keep iron just to make sure it's completely dry and firm. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is to squirrelize it. Before I peel it off, so it's easier to work with this paper on the painting. Now you can see the painting is enhanced with the color effects and there's no wrinkle, right? That's the reason we need to do this. Okay, let me put this on the cutting board. You need to have a measure. Ruler. Okay, so just put. I would align the signature side, the title line with this first. You can do either side as base. I think it's important to keep the signature part in place first. Okay, we trim that off. Then we do this side, 90 degree. This is the sky. Okay, all this. And the bottom. Okay. Now, you see this peel off the release paper, leaving the silicone film attached to the painting. You start from one corner and carefully remove the release paper. Someone asked me if we can remove the silicone. I would say it's not an easy task. You have to. I think it's not possible. Maybe there's some liquid I haven't tried that they said they will separate the two. But for now, my answer is negative. So this film will attach to the painting permanently, okay? So what we're going to do is to put a little strip around it first. Next. So this is the back, this is the front. We need to put a strip on the back. Okay, I think this is what we do. We'll use the silicone on painting to cover, to stick on the strip. So first of all, we need to fix. I'll use a anti-heat, like a heavy glass or a metal board like this. So you can fix the strip on the surface like that, and then you kind of align it. Leaving about 1/8, the painting will cover 1/8 of an inch, and then just iron that. Because the back of the painting has adhesive, so it's easy to stick on the front side of the tape. Okay, and you cut this off, and you do the other side. I think it's the wrong side. One side of this tape has a silicone adhesive, so you can activate a little bit. So you stick on the glass. Just place it like so. Glass, let's see. Now work on the top and the bottom. Okay. Now we have attached the supporting strips to the edges of the painting. The next step, we're going to add the silk, actually you still need this piece, silk margin. You leave about 1/8 of an inch between the two, so you will have a highlight kind of line. Asset, I think, call that. Okay, and just activate the silicone on the back of the silk. Okay. Well, the silicone should be easy to take off. Will not stick on the glass. Okay. So that's why we use a glass surface. Okay, on the bottom, on the top side, we do the same, leaving 1/8 or maybe 1/16 of inch. Okay, and we should use a smaller iron for this job. This way, so you don't have to activate more than you need. But it's easy to take off if it stick on the board, on the glass board. So the top. Now I'm doing the left and the right. Also, this will combine the two pieces to form a mat. Okay. Well, this little problem this strip is a little too short, so you need to leave some extra space for these two pieces to connect. Maybe a little too little. So I may have to miss a little bit the space. What you can do is to trim off a little more painting, but maybe too late to do that. We should have careful measurement. When you cut the strips, you should have extra space between the two, so it should be longer than the painting. About maybe 1/8 on each side. So we have to see if we can do that. Now we're going to do a final backing on the entire thing. Okay, you can simply activate the silicone film with a very gentle iron. Start from the center. And then out on each side. Position it, then on the four corners. Now you can see the painting is finished beautifully. You can take a picture before you do the frame. This is the most beautiful time to take a picture. Okay, I hope to see you in Oregon, Portland, but I'm not sure about my schedule. Otherwise, I hope my painting will represent me in the show, and hope a great success with the four gentlemen of Chinese brush painting show in Portland, Oregon. I'll post the website and the location in the end of this video, and it will start on the 28th of September. So see you there. Thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye. Oh, I forgot to mention, last step is to trim off the extra paper and squarize the painting.